What unfolds when Clint Eastwood crosses paths with a lemonade stand and a brave 7-year-old? A tale that will linger in your memory forever. The air hung heavy with the sweltering embrace of summer, making the pavement shimmer and urging the neighbors to find solace beneath the cool shadows. In a serene suburban enclave of Santa Clarita, California, life unfolded at a gentle pace, each moment woven into the fabric of everyday existence. The air was filled with the fresh fragrance of freshly mown grass, mingling with the subtle hints of barbecue wafting from nearby homes, while the lawn stood perfectly manicured. Sprinklers sang a steady tune. Yet for a young girl, this day held a magic beyond the ordinary summer sun. Emma, a 7-year-old, carefully set up her lemonade stand, perched on a small wooden stool, her feet barely grazing the ground beneath her. The scene unfolded simply: a folding table adorned with a weathered checkered cloth, a pitcher of lemonade slowly succumbing to the warmth, and a neat arrangement of plastic cups waiting patiently to serve their purpose. The sign she crafted by hand became the centerpiece of it all. Letters dance across the page, each one a vibrant splash of emotion. Hope's Lemonade. The sign was meticulously adjusted to catch the eye of anyone passing by, and Emma's unwavering spirit shone through in every aspect, from the radiant smile she offered to each vehicle that drove by to the careful way she positioned the sign. Yet, it was her purpose that set her apart in a remarkable way. Emma's goal was far more pressing than that of her peers, who were merely selling lemonade to fund a new toy or a trip to the amusement park. She was reaching out for support to cover her chemotherapy treatments. In her brief 7 years, Emma faced a multitude of challenges that would overshadow the struggles of many throughout their entire lives, and the weight of such a decision was far too heavy for any child to bear. She had faced countless days within the sterile walls of hospitals, navigating through tests, needles, and treatments that drained her strength and left her feeling queasy, ever since the day she received the diagnosis of leukemia nearly a year ago. She fought against the temptation to let her illness steal her spirit, standing strong in the face of adversity. From the veranda, Claire's mother watched, her heart a tapestry woven with threads of pride and sorrow. Once flowing like a golden river, Emma's hair had been transformed into a short crop, a poignant reminder of the trials she faced through her treatments. Yet, there she stood, greeting each passerby with an enthusiastic wave, her large brown eyes shimmering with a resolve that seemed to transcend her youth. An inquisitive jogger caught sight of the stand while passing by, raising a hand in a friendly wave before moving along their path. Once, a vehicle slowed its pace for just a heartbeat, as if savoring the moment before resuming its adventure down the road. Emma seemed to carry an air of indifference. With a subtle shift of her sign, she poured a modest cup of lemonade and settled in, anticipation hanging in the air. Her first client was Mrs. Henderson, a neighbor who made her way over with a gentle tap of her cane. "Pray tell, what is the price of a cup, my dear?" Her voice wrapped around the words like a cozy blanket as she asked. With a warm smile, Emma replied, $1. Mrs. Henderson graciously bestowed upon her a $10 banknote. With a soft voice, she murmured, "Keep the change," her eyes lingering on the words "Lemonade for Hope." Before heading back home, she gently stroked Emma's hand. More and more residents began to visit over time. A few souls indulged in refreshing lemonade, while others generously dropped coins and bills into the mason jar set aside for donations. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, it became clear that Emma's goal remained just out of reach, even though every encounter seemed to wash over her with fresh waves of motivation. Yet Emma pressed on with unwavering resolve. Little did she know, today would mark the turning point of her life. Her humble stand was on the brink of becoming a shining symbol of hope with the arrival of an extraordinary soul. Emma's journey began in a way that no one could have anticipated. Once upon a time, there was a spirited little girl, the very picture of vitality. Her days were filled with the joy of running barefoot across the yard, scaling the heights of trees, and pedaling her pink bike, its tassels dancing in the breeze as she rode. She was the kind of child who could illuminate any space with her laughter, her imagination boundless as she crafted enchanting scenes on bits of discarded paper. Yet, around a year ago, a remarkable change swept through everything. It started slowly, with her struggling to finish her bike rides because of fatigue, needing to take regular naps after school, and noticing little bruises that seemed to appear out of nowhere. At first, her parents thought it was just a passing moment in time. Even as the knot of concern tightened in Claire's chest, her father, Brian, reassured her that it was probably just a sign of her growth. The fevers began to rise, starting off gently, but soon they intensified and showed no signs of letting up. Emma's hunger waned, and she started shedding pounds at a concerning pace. One day, Claire noticed that Emma struggled to lift her art supplies. The vibrant energy that once defined her child had faded, leaving her too weak to hold a paintbrush for more than a few fleeting moments. In that instant, she sensed that something was deeply out of place. With a mix of trepidation and hope, Claire and Brian journeyed to the pediatrician's office, ready to face whatever news awaited them, yet yearning for a glimmer of reassurance. Despite the cheerful posters adorning the walls, Claire's unease lingered, and the waiting room was tinged with a subtle antiseptic scent. The doctors stepped into the room, their expression a silent echo of the dread that had settled in after a storm of tests, blood draws, and an excruciatingly long wait. He spoke with a tender touch, as if the gentleness of his words could somehow ease the weight of the news that Emma has leukemia. Claire's world seemed to sway on the edge of uncertainty. The phrase hung in the atmosphere, heavy and sharp. With a firm grip on Brian's hand, her thoughts spun in a tempest of worries and questions. What did this mean for Emma? How dire was the circumstance? Could they gather the means to secure the treatments? Initially, Emma found it difficult to grasp the full weight of the diagnosis. Yet, deep down, she sensed that something was not quite right. Her parents sought to weave a clear narrative, promising her that they would strive with all their might to enhance her situation. Yet, as the weeks unfolded, the truth started to reveal itself. The nurses transformed into her trusted companions, and the hospital evolved into a place she knew intimately. The relentless treatments weighed heavily on her delicate frame as she faced one round of chemotherapy after another. Claire stood steadfastly by Emma's side during the harrowing experience, clasping her hand tightly in the darkest moments and whispering soothing words as tears streamed down Emma's face, a testament to her pain. Brian, though determined to stay strong for his family, found himself needing to put in extra hours to manage the rising medical costs. His expression revealed the palpable tension in the air. Emma held on to her spirit with unwavering determination during the entire experience. Amidst the gentle hum of the hospital, a nurse with a knack for silly jokes brought laughter to the room. A visitor arrived, gifting a coloring book that sparked joy, while the familiar, comforting weight of her favorite blanket wrapped around her like a warm embrace, creating a tapestry of simple pleasures. One evening, as she nestled cross-legged on the living room floor, lost in the vibrant world of coloring, her parents engaged in a gentle conversation in the kitchen. She looked up at her mother and inquired, "What if I did something to help?" Claire knelt beside her, tenderly brushing a strand of hair from her forehead, the last remnant of her once flowing locks. "What do you mean, my dear?" Emma radiated a hopeful innocence unique to childhood as she inquired, "What if I sold lemonade?" People have a fondness for lemonade. There exists a chance that they might acquire it to lend me a hand. Claire felt a tightness in her throat. Emma's vision was a beautiful tapestry woven with threads of sorrow. With a warm embrace, she held her daughter close, her voice trembling with emotion as she declared, "What a wonderful idea, my dear. We will make sure it happens." The next day, they returned to their tasks once more. As Emma sketched her vision for the sign, Claire busily gathered the necessary materials, each piece a step closer to bringing their idea to life. Emma's resolve shone through in the striking letters and lively hues. With unwavering devotion, she poured her heart into every detail, even as she endured daily struggles, firmly believing that her humble efforts could create a ripple of change. Little did she know, her humble lemonade stand would serve as a catalyst, bringing her community together in unexpected and heartwarming ways. On a bright Saturday morning, Emma's dream of setting up a lemonade stand came to life. As dawn broke, Claire lent a hand to Emma, setting up their equipment in the driveway, while the sun painted the neighborhood with long, stretching shadows. Emma slipped into her beloved yellow sundress, convinced it perfectly complemented her refreshing lemonade. Her face was hidden beneath a floppy straw hat. They lifted the folding table away and adorned it with a colorful cloth that Claire had unearthed from a forgotten storage container. Beads of condensation began to gather on the glass of the pitcher, a testament to the refreshing lemonade crafted that very morning, where sugar and lemons danced together in perfect harmony. It stood proudly in the heart of the scene. Beside it, a neat arrangement of plastic cups stood proudly, accompanied by a mason jar marked donations. The words flowed from Emma's pen, each stroke a testament to her determination despite the tremor in her hand. Emma's favorite element was the sign. With unwavering commitment, she poured her heart into the task all week long, using markers and pastels to craft the words lemonade for hope in bold, vivid letters that danced across the page. She had crafted a vibrant yellow sun and a red heart beneath it, the kind of art that only a child could conjure, imperfect yet overflowing with feeling. It was carefully positioned on an old easel, ensuring that it caught the eye of any vehicle that happened to pass by. The first hour unfolded with a serene calmness. As Emma continued her stroll, a jogger breezed by, offering a warm smile, yet they didn't stop to chat. As it neared the stand, a vehicle slowed down and the driver shot a curious look before resuming their path. Emma seemed to carry a spirit unbroken. With a careful adjustment of her hat. At the stroke of midday, the first client made their entrance. Mrs. Henderson, a wise elder from 2 houses down, made her way to the stand, her cane softly tapping against the pavement as she walked. "Good morning, Emma," she said, her voice a gentle embrace, wrapping around the words like a soft blanket. "Good morning, Mrs. Henderson," Emma said, her face radiating joy. "Would you care for a refreshing glass of lemonade?" Each cup is priced at a single $1. With a warm smile, Mrs. Henderson reached into her purse and pulled out a crisp $10 bill. "It would bring me great joy to partake in some, my dear. Kindly ensure that the adjustment is preserved." With a gentle tremor in her hands, Emma offered her a cup. With heartfelt appreciation, she said, "Thank you so much." As Mrs. Henderson began to take her leave, more residents started to make their entrance. A young mother, pausing in her journey with a stroller, decided to stop and indulge in a warm cup of comfort. In that moment, a lively gathering of students from Emma's school appeared, joined by their parents, creating a scene filled with anticipation. Their lively banter and joyful laughter brought the stand to life as they bought lemonade and asked about Emma's sign. Emma clearly explained that it is for my chemotherapy. Her honesty was captivating, and patrons often added extra bills to the donation box as a tribute to her strength. By noon, the word had spread far and wide. As the vehicles came to a halt, drivers stepped out, drawn to the refreshing lemonade and the inviting presence of Claire, who had settled comfortably in her lawn chair nearby. The atmosphere buzzed with the laughter of children and the sweet scent of freshly mown grass, yet every gaze was drawn to Emma's stand. Emma's day reached its pinnacle with the arrival of Mr. Alvarez, the beloved mailman of the community. He was a familiar presence, always eager to share a laugh or a warm word. On that fateful day, he made his way to the stand, radiating his usual cheerful spirit. "Emma, pray tell, what is the price of a cup?" he asked, as he deftly pulled out his wallet. With a gentle smile, Emma said, "It is $1, as she gracefully poured a cup and offered it to him. Mr. Alvarez took a sip from the glass, letting out a theatrical lip smack before proclaiming, "This is the finest lemonade I have ever tasted. I have $20. Keep shining bright, young one." With a light heart, Emma let out a soft chuckle, her spirits soaring. She experienced something deeper than just a young person confronting an illness after months of struggle. With each cup of lemonade she poured, she was weaving a tapestry of change, drop by drop. By mid-afternoon, the donation jar brimmed with generosity, reflecting the ever-growing crowd that gathered steadily throughout the day. Claire's heart swelled as she watched her daughter interact with neighbors and strangers alike, her confidence blossoming with every warm word and gentle gesture exchanged. Emma found herself swept away by the unfolding events, yet the day resonated with a sense of victory. A mysterious figure was poised to make their entrance, and their presence would change the course of events forever. Emma poured another cup of lemonade, the sun reigning high in the sky, casting sharp shadows that danced across the neighborhood. The donation container brimmed with a delightful mix of crumpled bills and loose change, sparkling like treasure in the warm afternoon sun. Emma's stance was strengthened by the serene atmosphere surrounding her, as neighbors came and went, each adding their own small piece to the tapestry of the moment. Despite the weather's challenges, Emma remained calm and composed. With a gentle flick, she adjusted her straw hat, her small hands cradling the pitcher as she gracefully served another customer. From her lawn chair, Claire watched her daughter with a heart full of pride, engaging in conversation with a neighbor while keeping a watchful eye on her little one. Emma's gaze was captured by a figure strolling along the street. As the scene unfolded, a tall figure emerged, draped in dark jeans and a well-worn leather jacket, making their way toward the stand with a deliberate grace. He carried himself with a blend of ease and intention, each movement crafted with care. He radiated a subtle assurance that drew the gaze of onlookers, his weathered visage partly cloaked in shadow, while his eyes remained hidden behind his glasses. Emma's gaze drifted away from him. Her curiosity soared to new heights. The person was a stranger. He was not one of those who regularly strolled by or joined in the neighborhood runs. He paused a few steps from the stand, taking in the arrangement with a subtle smile that danced at the edge of his lips. Emma's voice cut through the soft whispers of the street as she greeted, "Hello! Would you care for a refreshing glass of lemonade? Just $1 for each delightful cup." The man bowed his head just a touch, resting his palms on his knees, determined to connect with her eyes. $1, is that correct? His voice resonated with a rich, gravelly timbre, echoing the experiences of a life well lived. He remarked, "It appears to be quite the deal. What is the meaning behind this?" Emma gestured towards her sign, her delicate finger dancing across the lively letters. A glimmer of optimism in a refreshing glass of lemonade. With a clear and steady voice, she conveyed that it was for my chemotherapy, her words carrying an underlying strength. "I am striving to ease my parents' worries by offering my support." The man's demeanor softened. He took a moment to scrutinize the donation container, then made his way back to Emma. He appeared to waver for a moment, as though he were pondering his next move. At last, he drew forth a checkbook from the depths of his blazer pocket. "What do they call you, my dear?" With a curious glint in his eye, he leaned forward, his pen hovering above the blank page, ready to capture the unfolding tale. With a glance, she answered, "Emma." He jotted something down on the check, remarking, "Well, Emma, I sense that this lemonade stand is due for the acclaim it truly deserves." With a careful motion, he separated the check from the book and offered it to her, a gesture filled with unspoken significance. With a mix of anticipation and trepidation, Emma carefully unfolded the slip of paper, her tiny hands quivering ever so slightly as she gazed at the number inscribed upon it. Her eyes widened, and her lips parted in awe. She exclaimed, "This is $50,000! Her voice barely reached the air. From her vantage point, Claire sprang to her feet, her keen eyes having taken in the scene unfolding before her. 50,000, she echoed, her voice trembling as she rushed to Emma's side. She gazed at the man, her eyes brimming with emotion. Words escaped me, leaving me in a quiet pause of uncertainty. It seems that merely expressing gratitude falls short. The man's rugged features transformed, revealing a warmth as he smiled. He replied, "You've already mentioned it. This young girl is the one truly carrying out the task." In that instant, a voice from the crowd softly murmured, "Hold on, is that Clint Eastwood?" The name echoed among the small gathering, like a spark setting dry leaves ablaze. With the arrival of phones, whispers turned into astonished gasps as people eagerly leaned in, straining their necks for a better glimpse of the unfolding scene. Emma looked at him with a spark of curiosity in her eyes. With a curious tilt of her head, she asked, "Are you famous or something?" Clint flashed a grin and lowered himself into a crouch, his eyes locked onto hers. With a friendly demeanor, he responded, "A little bit. Yet, Emma, your renown will far surpass that of others." The atmosphere shifted, enveloping the audience in a cozy embrace as soft laughter rippled through the air. Clint delicately placed his hand on Emma's shoulder. "You continue on your chosen path, my young friend. The world could greatly benefit from more individuals like you." The tale was far from concluded, even though the donation container brimmed with generosity and the check had been penned with care. The legacy that Clint Eastwood would forge was merely the beginning of his remarkable journey. As the moment of understanding unfolded, the atmosphere pulsed with energy. Clint Eastwood, the celebrated actor and filmmaker, graced Emma's small lemonade stand with his presence. The gathering buzzed with excitement as the news spread like wildfire, and eager voices began to share their thoughts in hushed tones. There were those who, with a careful eye, captured fleeting moments through discreet photos or videos. Yet, Clint seemed unfazed, his focus entirely on Emma and her family. The striking figure inscribed on the check in Emma's hand seemed almost surreal as she stared at it in disbelief. With a voice that quivered between awe and incredulity, she whispered, $50,000. Claire sank to her knees beside her daughter, her hand shaking as she cautiously reached for the check, seeking to validate the astonishing figure her eyes had already revealed. With a quick breath, she felt the sting of tears gathering in her eyes. This is a tale. With a quiver in her voice, she declared, "This is truly remarkable. I find myself in disbelief." Clint's weathered face held a gentle warmth, his soft smile inviting connection and comfort. With a steady voice, he declared, "It is not about the money." His true aim was to show this young warrior that she stands not in solitude. She has traversed the arduous path. All she needed was a gentle nudge. The crowd burst into applause as though orchestrated by an unseen hand. As the scene unfolded, curious neighbors drawn by the recent spectacle began to make their way over, eager to partake in the refreshing lemonade. Mr. Alvarez, the lively mailman, was the first to share his thoughts. "Emma," he said, pulling a crisp $50 bill from his wallet, "it is my belief that Clint possesses the right perspective. Rest assured, we will make certain that you have everything you need." Like a chain reaction set in motion, the consequences unfolded swiftly. People reached into their pockets and purses, pulling out whatever they could find. A handful of people passed around $20 bills. Others placed their crumpled fives and ones into the donation container, which was already overflowing. Some individuals took it upon themselves to craft their own checks, penning them right then and there. What started as a simple goal for Emma's stand had transformed into the heart of an unforgettable occasion. Claire found it challenging to keep her rhythm, pausing to share her heartfelt thanks with everyone who stepped up. Emotions poured forth like a river. Meanwhile, Emma stood behind her lemonade table, her face glowing with a blend of thankfulness and wonder. "Does this mean I no longer need to share the tale of lemonade?" With a soft laugh, Emma turned her gaze back to Clint, a hint of shyness in her demeanor. The rich, warm laughter of Clint filled the room, echoing through the crowd. Crouching to meet her gaze, he said, "You don't have to, kid. Yet, I sense that you will persist in crafting new ways to enrich the world. It is merely the essence of your being." The air crackled with an exhilarating energy, filled with a unique and invaluable sense of hope. A voice from the crowd called out, "Group photo!" Emma and Clint found themselves at the heart of the gathering, and soon enough, neighbors were clustering together, smiles lighting up their faces. A local photographer captured an image that would soon spread like wildfire, embodying the profound impact a single act of kindness can have on a whole community. By the end of the day, the total cash donations surpassed $10,000, though Clint's check was not included in that sum. Emma's humble lemonade stand blossomed into a shining symbol of kindness, uplifting the spirits of everyone who came across it. Yet, Clint's tale was far from over. As the crowd began to thin, he leaned in toward Claire, his voice low and conspiratorial. "I have a few allies who are eager to lend a hand," he murmured. "Don't be surprised if you hear from them soon." Claire, still feeling the weight of her emotions, nodded in response, her voice trembling as she expressed, "Thank you. You have changed our lives forever." Clint rose to his feet and spoke to the small gathering that remained, offering a courteous nod as if tipping an invisible hat to her. He remarked, "You have a truly special little girl. Cherish her and keep nurturing one another." With a casual turn, he ambled off, the sunlight glinting off his leather jacket as he melted into the street's embrace. The neighborhood watched him leave, and the weight of the moment lingered deeply within their hearts. Yet, the tale was far from over. The ripples of Clint's kindness and the unfolding events it set in motion were poised to reach far beyond this quiet suburban lane. In the days that followed Clint Eastwood's unexpected visit, Emma's lemonade stand transformed into a sensation, captivating not just Santa Clarita, but soon the entire nation. The images and clips of the encounter, taken by nearby witnesses and circulated on social media, quickly captured the public's fascination. Various news outlets shared the tale of the incident. The headlines celebrated the remarkable kindness of Clint and the young girl with grand dreams. Emma stood proudly before her lemonade stand, her vibrant sign catching the eye and her beaming smile lighting up the day, bringing joy to everyone who passed by. Claire and Brian found themselves swept away by the sudden surge of attention that had come their way. From the hearts of strangers, donations, flowers, and cards for Emma began to grace their doorstep. In the heart of the family's home, the postbox overflowed with a treasure trove of envelopes, each one a vessel of encouragement and support, some even bearing checks that shimmered with promise. A heartfelt note from a young child in Kansas reached Emma, expressing, "Dear Emma, your tale touched me deeply, and I wanted to lend my support. Though my pockets may not be overflowing, I hold a hopeful heart that these $2 will weave a tale of change. Your bravery knows no bounds. Charlie," with warmth and fondness. At the tender age of 8, Emma felt a deep wave of emotion wash over her. With careful precision, she placed the letter into a container that was gradually becoming a treasure trove of cards and notes, each one a heartfelt reminder that she had encouraged her mother to cherish. One evening, as she carefully arranged the letters, she remarked, "These individuals are helping me. I want to keep their memory alive." Yet, the tale ignited a spark that resonated beyond mere individuals. It enchanted the attention of local charities and businesses. In a moment of kindness, a nearby hospital extended a helping hand to Emma's family, offering support for any lingering medical expenses they faced. Alongside a heartfelt message, a popular lemonade brand gifted her a year's worth of their delightful beverage. Emma, your bravery shines brightly, illuminating the beauty of existence. Inspire the world to keep pushing forward together. Claire and Brian watched in awe as the weight they once thought impossible to lift started to fade away. The hospital expenses that had cast a shadow over their lives began to dissolve as the kindness of strangers chipped away at the burden, one piece at a time. Moreover, it reached far beyond mere financial support. From the heart of the community, generous offers of help with transportation, meals, and childcare flowed in. Clint's act of compassion rippled through the community, leaving an indelible mark that reached far beyond their small neighborhood. Inspired by Emma's tale, other children eagerly set up their own lemonade stands, channeling their earnings to support local hospitals and cancer charities. A wave of excitement surged through social media as the hashtag #HiredLemonadeForHope began to trend, signaling the dawn of a remarkable movement. Tales flowed in from every nook and cranny of the land. In a heartwarming display of love and solidarity, children are gathering funds for their cherished ones. Communities are coming together as one, and even celebrities are lending their support in Emma's name. Emma gracefully held on to her humility, even amidst the spotlight that surrounded her. One evening, as she and her parents sat on the living room floor, arranging yet another stack of letters, she lifted her gaze towards the ceiling, lost in thought. With a glimmer of hope in her eyes, she asked, "Do you think we can help other children like me? Perhaps we could embark on a grander journey together." Her remarks ignited a brilliant idea. In a heartwarming endeavor, Claire and Brian joined forces with Emma to bring to life the Lemonade for Hope Foundation. This initiative blossomed with the purpose of lending a helping hand to families grappling with financial strain from medical treatment costs, fueled by the extra funds they had gathered along the way. The aim of the foundation was clear and unambiguous. No child should ever have to face the harrowing decision of battling for their existence while grappling with the burden of financial worry. The foundation was born quietly, yet its presence soon echoed far and wide. Within weeks, contributions from every corner of the world started to pour in. In a ripple of generosity, businesses committed to matching donations, schools rallied together to set up lemonade stand fundraisers, and Emma's inspiring tale sparked a wave of local initiatives across various communities. One fateful day, a package arrived for Emma, and to her astonishment, it bore the name of none other than Clint Eastwood. A handwritten note accompanied the gift, along with a framed photo capturing a moment of joy at her lemonade stand. Continue your brave struggle, young warrior. Your actions are weaving a brighter tapestry for the cosmos. With a sparkle in her eyes, Emma read the note aloud, her voice steady even as a wave of emotion washed over her. With a gentle voice, she cradled the note against her heart. I aspire to make him proud. From a simple lemonade stand, a movement had blossomed, showing that even the smallest gestures of kindness can transform into something remarkable. Yet, the journey was not merely defined by the kindness that Emma and her family had encountered. It was a tale of newfound hope they could now share with others. Months after that unforgettable day, Emma and her family's existence began to unfold in a slightly different light. Once, Claire and Brian were expressions marked by unending worry. But now those lines had eased, giving way to a newfound sense of relief that had eluded them for more than a year. Through the kindness of unknown souls, the warmth of community, and the remarkable support of a legendary figure who answered the call in their time of need, the burdensome medical costs transformed from a looming threat into a distant memory. Emma's health was on the mend, though the journey was far from complete. With the weight of financial worries eased, the family could fully focus on offering her the emotional and physical support she needed throughout her treatments. Emma's spirit shone brightly, and her lemonade stand transformed into a beloved memory for everyone who took part in that remarkable day, extending beyond just her family. Yet, the tale did not reach its end at that moment. At an extraordinary pace, Emma's foundation, Lemonade for Hope, blossomed and grew beyond all expectations. A humble gesture of kindness blossomed into a sweeping national movement. Across the nation, schools joined hands in a vibrant initiative, hosting lemonade fundraisers and guiding students on the vital essence of compassion. Emma's initiative brought hope to families burdened by medical expenses, as companies stepped forward with matching donations. The young girl who once claimed her spot in the driveway had transformed into a beacon of inspiration for many. She emerged as a beacon of empathy and strength, illustrating that even the quietest whispers can create ripples that echo across the globe. Emma stood on a small stage at a local event celebrating the foundation's success, holding the microphone with slightly trembling hands yet radiating confidence. As she prepared to share her tale, the audience made up of volunteers, supporters, and neighbors watched her inhale deeply, anticipation hanging in the air. Once upon a time, in a realm of connection, a warm welcome was extended to everyone present. With a voice that rang out clear and steady, she conveyed her gratitude, a remarkable feat for one so young. As I embarked on my journey with the lemonade stand, my foremost aim was to lend a helping hand to my parents. To my surprise, a great many people showed interest in my circumstances, yet you were among them. Consequently, we can now extend our support to other children facing similar circumstances. Your trust in me fills me with gratitude. Claire embraced Emma tightly as she withdrew from the microphone, softly saying, "You have filled me with pride." The applause roared around them. In the shadows at the back of the audience, Clint Eastwood lingered, a figure often overlooked by most who were present. With a subtle smile playing on his lips, he took in the scene, hands tucked into his pockets, donning a simple baseball cap and jacket. He sought neither applause nor acclaim. He was there to quietly honor the young girl whose small act of kindness blossomed into a powerful force for transformation. As the event drew to a close, a reporter turned to Emma, inquiring about the insights she had gathered from the experience. Before she spoke, she paused to reflect. Her words carried a simplicity that belied their depth. In my journey, I found that help is always within reach, no matter how small one may feel, and that remarkable things can unfold when people come together to support each other. Her response echoed like a clarion call for the foundation, a message that struck a chord with people across the globe. Tales of young hearts inspired by Emma to embark on their own little journeys of kindness, like bake sales and car washes, started to pour in, each one aimed at making the world a better place, one small act at a time. In a quaint neighborhood, a pivotal moment unfolded that would forever alter the course of a family's journey. It was the day a man clad in a leather jacket stopped by their humble lemonade stand, taking a moment to appreciate the heartfelt message behind a seemingly simple sign. As Emma's tale unfolded, it continued to inspire, reminding us that even in the darkest of times, hope and kindness could light the way forward. Should this tale strike a chord within you, take a moment to reflect on how you might lend your hand, no matter how small it may seem. Share this tale, inspire someone else, and remember that every gesture of kindness, no matter how small, can create ripples that reach far beyond what you might imagine. If you find yourself captivated by tales akin to Emma's, we invite you to subscribe and immerse yourself in more stories that celebrate the essence of humanity, resilience, and hope.